Hello and welcome. This video we're going to take a look at the Rallus, which is the Romulan Dyson Sci Destroyer from the Dyson bundle that got released in 2024, I think it was. So it's just to finish off that set, and I did promise I'd do this video as well, so doing the usual having a look at the Vanity shields from the Dilithium store during certain events of the year, and also the one from the Zen store. As always, there's chapters in the description down below, along with several other links that I'll cover off at the end of the video. Now, a few things just to mention. This is like the other Dyson ships, things don't marry up visually with the effects from the shield. So we're talking the impulse engines and the nacelles, because there is no deflector array on this Romulan ship for some weird reason. So that will probably come through in the video of me getting slightly irritated, and because I have to say this should be this. The other thing as well is that the ship model itself is overriding the engine trails from the shield as well on certain occasions. And finally, Babylon 5 called, they want their Whitestar back. There you go, I've made the Whitestar joke. So, like the other Dyson ships, this one does have a very nice mechanical animation in it. So let's jump into the game and have a quick look at that. So here we are. This is how it looks. No shields, no messing about with the hull material, which is unfortunate because I tried to mess about with the hull material to create the Whitestar from Babylon 5, and for love nor money I just cannot get the colour scheme correct. So if I had the Vesta pattern material on it, I probably could have managed it. So the animation effect, so this is you in science mode, and going into tactical mode. So we have these guns that swing out very nicely. Then going back into science mode, they rotate back into me. Subtle but nice. So the first shield we'll be looking at is the Alliance Vanity shield as normal. So this is the only shield available in the Zen store and is part of the Mutara Alliance bundle, which also includes the Mutara Alliance uniform and an upgrade. So for the shield itself, we have this white and patterned hull material, some gold shading and some grey shading there. This lovely orange plasma Bassard collector effect here at the front. Then if it will actually move and zoom in for me, I'm having enough of time with this just now. Just here on the wing, we've actually got the impulse engine effect. So the red, orange, yellow and white and back again there. Then we have the cyan for the nacelle colouring here on the weapons for some weird bizarre reason. What the cyan lighting there at the front, and some of this red piping as well. Then at the rear, we've got the Bassard collector orange plasma effect with the forced purple lighting. Got purple here, so I would have thought that these would have been the impulse engines, logically. They'll be at the back of the ship. And you can see there what this various colour pattern with the triangles. That changes when the light hits it. That's quite a nice touch on the grey there. Then we've also got the same up here as well. So we see this effect on the Alliance ships, so the Rex and Garrett, the Kittimer and so forth, and it's, I've said it before, it's a really nice detail that the art team included within the Vanity shield itself. So looking down, and more of the white pattern material there, and the grey shading, that red piping. And for the underside, again, we've got some more of that grey shading there, and more of that cyan lighting. You can see more of that orange plasma facade collector effect here. Then for the engine trails off of this one, whereas this would normally be the blue from the nacelle and the reddish orange, which is standard Starfleet ones, it's been overwritten by the blue and the purple from the ship itself. Over to the Dilithium store now, and this is a Safe Galaxy Refit Vanity shield. So I've got this patterned grey hull material with this golden facade collector effect here, the slightly lighter yellow nacelle colouring again on the weapons ports there, got the golden impulse engine colouring here on the front of the wings, and I've got that yellow lighting there down the centre. So this is changed from purple to red, force lighting here. We've got the golden facade collector effect again, and then effectively just blacked out there at the ends. You can see a full extent of that pattern effect on the hull material there. Then with the same there on the underside, again with more of that yellow lighting effect. Then for the engine trails in this one, it's actually retained the shield ones. So this goldish yellow, which is the correct engine trails for this shield. Next up, it's another popular shield in the game. This is the Baul Vanity shield. So we've got the black hull material, got the cyan lighting there for the facade collector effect, and the nacelle effect is again on those guns. We have that lovely red there as the impulse engine effect at the front. As the lights hitting the head of the ship here, you can see that carved pattern within the hull material. See it appearing as the lights reflecting off the hull material there. Now this is quite disappointing for myself because I do like the red engine effects from the shield, but unfortunately they aren't on the back of the ship, so it's just the facade collector effect again. It's a very sleek looking ship with a shield on it. If only the effects married up correctly with the norms for this shield. Again, on the underside there, we've actually got this white light here now. And we've got more of that etched pattern design on the underside. Now, engine trail wise on this one, it's back to the forced one from the ship model. So not the actual shield effect on this one, I'm afraid. Next up, it's the Borg Vanity Shield. So this is one that I've said numerous times, and also in the recent bug video that I did, that should be renamed to Liberated Borg Vanity Shield, because it does cause confusion. People see Borg Vanity Shield in the Dilithium store and they automatically go to the black and the greens of a Borg ship, whereas this is the liberated Borg, so it's the grey hull with the pattern made up of various shapes and sizes of hull plates. I have this blue and grey Bizarre Collector effect, same there for the nacelle colouring being applied to the weapons. You'll see this bit of blue illumination here, and same there on the sides. And as we zoom in, see it's got this black conduit material effect with the light overlay. So that's to depict sections of the hull missing these hull plates. At the rear we're back to the forced purple lighting, then the Bizarre Collector blue effect there, and again just greyed out completely. Our side, and then we've got more of that conduit material, but this time with this orange and gold lighting. And for the underside, again, it's just more of the patterned grey hull material with the grey and blue illumination there. Now, normally this shield doesn't actually have an engine trail effect on it, so let's see how it goes in this ship. And this time it's just forced ones from the nacelle, but not from the impulse area. So next up we have the Courier Vanity Shield. So this is one of the older shields in the game, not to be confused with the Breen Courier Raider shield that came with the Partners in Crime lockbox this year. So this shield, we have this bare metal kind of shading for the hull material, some shades of black there as well, and then we have the white Bizarre Collector effect, the white impulse engine effect, the white nacelle effect. I'm sure you've seen a theme develop here. We also have some white lighting coming down the front here. Now, I will warn you is that this shield does get very bright when the light hits it, so you might want to dull down your monitor or put some sunglasses on. Then at the rear, again, we've got the Bizarre Collector effect with the forced purple illumination on it. You can see the material's getting slightly brighter there. Then on the underside, it's very bright as the light hits it. It's almost like ESD lighting there. And then we've got this white illumination on the bottom as well. Now, normally the engine effects in this is it's either a white flame effect from the impulse engine or kind of like a bubbling water effect. But then it goes to the standard blue nacelle and red impulse engine, rather than being white for some weird bizarre reason on this shield. So let's see how it is on this particular ship. We've still got that white flame effect, but it's the same forced colouring from the ship, so the blue and the purple there. Next up, we're looking at the Discovery Vanity Shield. So this is one of the shields in the game that has a different visual appearance depending if you are Federation aligned or Klingon aligned. So we're going to have a look at the Federation one first, then we'll have a look at the Klingon one. So for Federation aligned players, you get the appearance of Starfleet vessels in Season 1 of Discovery. So we've got this two-tone grey patterned hull material. We have the blue patterned facade collectors there at the front. We have the blue nacelle colouring again on the weapons. And then we also have this red honeycomb impulse engine effect here at the front. And we're back to the forced purple lighting at the rear here, with the facade collector effect again at the rear centre. You see the different shades in the hull pattern that the shield's applying there. This white illumination here on the underside with touches of blue, and more of that two-tone hull material. Now, surprisingly enough, this shield normally has white engine trails. So we had just had the Courier Radar Vanity shield, which had all white, that would normally have the red and blue engine trails. And then we have this shield, which has blue nacelles, red impulse engines, and it has white engine trails. I think somebody might have mixed something up there. So, as I said, they're normally white on this one, so let's have a look with this particular ship. So, the impulse engine area, they're white. The nacelle ones start off as white, but they're forced into the blue there from the ship. And here we have the Discovery Vanity shield on a Klingon Alliance character. So you have this brown patterned hull material. We zoom in, so with that grey and with the green lines there, still kind of looks like eyes on the side there. Touch more green illumination at the front, and then this red and white coming down here. Then we have the red facade collectors with the pulsating white. Just with that green illumination there on the underside. On the rear here we have this white and red with the pulsating again, so the facade collector effect. And then we've got this forced purple glow again. And there's the nacelle colouring there on the inside, so that orange, yellow and white elliptical shapes. And get the full extent of that pattern effect on the hull material. And the same here on the underside, again more with that red white lighting, that line going down the bottom of the ship. For engine trails, so with the white there, and then starts off white but goes into blue, so again overriding the shield effect with the ship's own one. Here we have the Discovery Refit Vanity shield. So we've got the two-tone grey hull material, so slightly darker shades of grey compared to the normal Discovery one. Then we have the white there for the facade collectors, white and blue nacelle colouring here on the weapons, and then we've got the red there on the impulse engine colouring at the front. This bluish white here as well. You can see the different shades of the grey there with some pattern effects. Again, we're back to that forced purple lighting with the white facade collector effect there in the centre. The white facade collector effect here at the back as well. And the same here on the underside with the two-tone hull material, and then this white light. From memory, the normal engine trails are just the standard Federation ones, the reddish orange for the impulse and the blue for the nacelles, so we'll see how this goes on this one. So we've got this white and this red. I suppose the white's quite a faint blue actually. But I'm just amazed that we've got the red coming from the white Bassard collectors at the back there. Next up is the Emerald Chain Intel Juggernaut Vanity Shield. Why did they not just call it the Emerald Chain Vanity Shield? Nice, short, easy to remember. So we've got this brown patterned hull material. And I've got this off-white with some touches of grey there for the Bassard collectors. And there's very similar shading there for the white at the front, and then you can see this pattern effect in the hull material. It's at the front here. And with that same off-white nacelle colouring there. Same for the impulse engines. Yeah, it looks more like that purple forced lighting again at the rear. With that off-white, means slight touch of yellow there for that Bassard collector effect. See more of that pattern effect that we've seen here at the front. See more of that at various points on the ship. Same on the underside, and again that off-white lighting strip there as well. Then we'll have a look at the engine trails in this one. So I've got this bluish white and red, so very similar to the Discovery Refit one. And it doesn't actually match the what would be the normal engine colours on this particular shield. Next, it's the Emperor's Vanity Shield. So with this grey hull material with this purple shading, with this deep yellow Bassard collector effect, the cyan impulse engine effect, then that yellow nacelle colouring effect. Then we have this orange illumination down the centre here, which is normally the deflector array colouring on this shield, so I'm not sure if that's supposed to be some sort of deflector or if it's just the colouring they picked when they were mapping the ship model to the shield. And you see here at the back we've got this blue dot illumination. When it's shady from the light, it's quite visible. So that is throughout the full hull material, and it is kind of like the starfield at the back of it. Then we have the, again, forced purple lighting effects there, the Bassard collector effect as well. Again, you can faintly make out the blue dot illumination, even with the light hitting the ship there. Look more at the underside before I rotate it into the light. Again, you can see that pattern effect does mirror the starfield at the back of it. And then again, we've got that orange illumination there on the underside. Now we rotate it up into the light. Just the grey hull material there for the underside. And for the engine effects, so it's got the cyan for the impulse engine, and then white with a touch of yellow at the end there for the nacelle colouring. So next up is those lovable Ferengi and their Vanity Shield. So we have the orange hull material that we're used to seeing on the Ferengi vessels in the TV shows. We have this yellow here for the Bizarre Collector effect. Same there for the Impulse Engine effect. And the lighter yellow there for the nacelle colouring. Also got some grey and gold shading in the hull material. Then this yellow illumination down the centre here. And for some weird bizarre reason the game seems to stutter quite a bit when I'm trying to zoom in. We are seeing this rivet detail as well, certain parts of the hull. And there's also a bit of a pattern effect within the orange sections of the hull material. Forced purple, it's almost pink now. Lighting effect there. And then we've got the yellow Bizarre Collector effect. As we're rotating around there again, you see some more of that rivet detail there as we look down. And more of that rivet detail there on the underside with the gold and the orange shading for the hull material. And then that yellow illumination there as well. Then for the impulse and warp engine effects. So we've got the yellow there for the impulse engine effects. This white effect there that's tapering off to a bit of yellow at the end. So again, the model itself is overriding the effect of the engines for this shield. Next up it's the Hur'q Vanity Shield with the green hull material. With this brownish purple shading as well. Then we also have this illuminated green paneling. Then we have the green there for the Bizarre Collector effect, green for the nacelle effect, and hidden in there is the green for the Impulse Engine effect as well. So we see quite a bit of that illuminated green pattern effect. This is a look at the front of the ship. Now we've got this shaded pattern material here as well. Giving a bit of texture to the hull material. Then unfortunately we're back to the forced purple lighting at the rear. And the Bizarre Collector effect there. More of that illuminated green material also. Same here at the back of the nacelles. And more of that shading giving the textured effect to the hull material. And more of the green and that purplish brown shading. And some more of that green illumination there on the underside. And then for the engine trails in this one, with this yellowish colour, and again this white tapering off to yellow at the end there. Next up, it's the Kelvin Divergence Vanity Shield. So, like the Discovery one, this one does have two different visual appearances depending upon faction alignment. So for Federation aligned, we get the appearance of the Starfleet vessels in the reboot films. So we've got the grey patterned hull material. This bluish white lighting down the centre here. The blue and white of the nacelle colouring. And then this god-awful Bizarre Collector effect. So that effect there is supposed to mimic that of the USS Kelvin at the start of the first reboot film. And it works fine on that ship, and it works not too bad on the Scott and the Tucker class as well, as I did some recent videos on. But most other ships, it looks absolutely awful. Why they couldn't just go for the blue effect from the Enterprise in the reboot films, that would have worked a lot better, in my personal opinion. And then the impulse colouring there is an orange pattern effect. More of that forced purple lighting and the Bassard collector effect there at the rear. I'll say shields go, it's a bit of a boring one, as in there's not really that much change on the hull material. It's simply just the Starfleet grey. Then we've got the blue and white lighting stripe there on the underside as well. I'm actually getting a bit of that purple glow bleed coming through there. Then engine trail wise, we're back to the forced one from the ship itself, so the purple and blue. Here we have the Kelvin Divergence Vanity Shield on a Klingon Line character. We have several different shades of green, the hull material with some touches of grey, and we have the yellow Bassard collectors there. Then we have the blue honeycomb pattern there of the nacelle colouring, a touch of red there, which is normally the impulse colouring on this particular shield. With some more yellow illumination here. Again with that forced purple glow, and then the Bassard collector effect again at the rear of the ship. And just more of that two-tone hull material on the underside. And engine trails. Again, that forced purple there, and the blue of the nacelles. Here we have the Prodigy Vanity Shield. This is fast becoming one of my favourite shields in the game at the moment, although I'm not particularly keen on the deflector array effect on it, but certainly the engines and this lovely grey hull material I certainly do like very much. So we have the grey hull material, and we've also got this pattern effect just here at the front. Then we have the blue and white there for the Bassard collector effect, the red of the impulse engines, and the blue nacelle colouring on the weapons there. And again, that forced purple lighting effect, and then the blue and white Bassard collector effect there at the rear. And you see the blue with a touch of white lighting there at the front of the ship as well. And then with the same here on the underside. Now for the engine trails, we have the red and the light blue, which is the correct ones for the shield. when the effects of the shield actually marry up with the correct parts. So having the right impulse engine effect at the rear and having the right nacelle colour. This is another very popular shield in the game. This is the Section 31 Vanity shield. Now the dark hull material with some different shades of colour there. We have the blacked out Facade collectors, the red impulse engines, and the very bright cyan there for the nacelle colouring. If we zoom in close, you can see that there is actually a pattern effect within the hull material there. And we've also got this striped hull material as well. And again, that forced purple illumination. And as the Facade collectors are blacked out, there's no Facade collector effect here at the rear. The underside again is just the different shades of hull material, and that normal lighting strip there is blacked out. Then for the engine trails in this one, they are correct for the shield, so we've got the red and then the light blue. Just unfortunate that the ship itself doesn't actually have the correct visual effects for those engines. Next up, it's the Shrike Vanity shield. So I've got this reddish orange hull material with this burgundy shading as well. Got the orange and white pattern effect there for the Facade collectors. Some touches of grey shading in the hull material as well. Then we have the orange there for the nacelle colouring. And then this reddish orange illumination down the centre here. Then we have a red and orange pattern impulse engine effect there at the front. Again, still with that forced lighting effect, and then the orange and white Facade collector effect there at the rear. Some more touches of grey. Again, more of that rusty orange hull material in the burgundy. And a slightly lighter orange illumination there on the underside. Then we'll look at the engine effects. We have this yellow and almost pink trail. So that's normally yellow and red. So the ship model is overriding the engine trail slightly there. Next up is that very busy shield, the Tzenkethi Vanity shield. So we have the green hull material with grey shading and some black shading. We also have this illuminated panel material. And we'll zoom in a bit there, and you can see it is pulsating. Then we have the white patterned Facade collectors there, the white nacelle colouring there. Quite a bit more of that pulsating lighting effects going on. Then it looks like it's changed hue to a more of a blue forced lighting effect there. And then the white Facade collector effects again. More of that pulsating light effect. Then you can see the carved pattern in the hull material. And then this orange illumination just down the front there. And the same on the underside, more of the green and grey there with the carved pattern, the orange strip there, and more of that pulsating light material. Then for the engine trails, got the white there, and then this forced blue from the ship model. Now we come to the final shield, and this is the Zhat Vash Vanity shield. We've got this olive green and sandy brown patterned hull material, almost like an army camouflage. We've got the green with this white patterned Bassard collector, with the green nacelle colouring there. We've also got this red stripe down the middle, and the red impulse engine effects there at the front. See some touches of grey hull material there as well. Again, that forced purple lighting. Then the green and white Bassard collector effect there at the rear. And more of the two-tone hull material on the underside, and another red lighting strip there as well. Then for the engine trails, it's the ship's purple and blue ones, rather than the effect that the shield gives. And that concludes the look at the Rallus. I have to say that the ship model itself was absolutely beautiful, extremely well done by the design team. It's just unfortunate that the shields don't marry up with the correct parts of the ship. So had to put the impulse engines, 4 of them at the rear, where they've got the Bassard collector effects. That should be the impulse engine effect. Then we could have had the nacelle colouring at the rear of the nacelle, and even on the inside of it, instead of on the weapons. So that was a bit disappointing. It's one of the reasons that if I do fly this ship, I won't be putting any vanity shields on it. It would just annoy me far too much. It's the same with the Kardashev and the Lola, the Klingon and the Federation versions of the Dyson Sci ships. It will just be the base material on the rare occasion that I use them. So thank you all very much for watching. Do have to give Casual Sab a massive shout out on this one. Recent news video of his, he featured my channel, which was extremely nice of him, and as a result I have now passed the 500 subscribers on the channel. So it's now just getting the watch hours up, and that'll be the first milestone out the way, and then on to the second milestone. So really exciting times for the channel, especially since it's already been going for about 6 months. Enough of the praising of Casual Sab and the channel. Let's talk about the links in the description. So we have the real merch link for 5% off using my affiliate code. I have links there to my Blue Sky and X accounts. There's also links for the STO wiki and the main Star Trek Online news blog. And then content wise, Casual Sab's channels are listed there for Twitch and YouTube. We've also got Nick NB, MC Stu, the Mutara Alliance Twitch channels there. So that alliance does 2 streams a week, and they do giveaways on each stream. You don't need to be a member of the alliance to enter the giveaways. They're extremely generous. So if you haven't already, swing by, give them a follow, and check out their streams. And the same for Thornburg. He's very entertaining. He's a disabled veteran in the US, so check out his streams. He does them fairly regular, and I say drop him a follow. But that is the end of the video. It's just left to thank you again for watching. Thank you again for subscribing and supporting the channel, and I will catch you on the next video or the next live stream.